Well, I've been working on the Confederate cannon some more, and got basically the axle bands roughed out here. What I had to do was I had to make two cuts. You see them here, 1, 2, and to use the metal bender, because this structural steel will snap. I even tried doing it with this is the 3/8 thick stuff. This is the 1/4 inch. You see it snap right here. This stuff is supposed to perform pretty good. It's the best steel I could find that's formable, but it still cracks and snaps. So you got to make two cuts for each corner. So this would be like the bottom, and what you have is a plate that goes over this with a filler plate that goes in here, and then a plate that goes over that with two lag bolts that hold it in. That would be on the bottom, and that goes around here. So tomorrow, like on the ends, on each end, to hold the axle in place. Besides, it'll be held in with Gorilla Glue. So tomorrow, I'll dig out my welder and weld this up. Hopefully I can get that done tomorrow, so the axle bands will be on there, hopefully. I roughed out the cheeks on this piece of paper. This is how it'll sit, and the cannon sits in here. That would be the trunnion. You know, the cannon, the middle of the cannon would be right there. What happens is there's a trunnion plate, which is a piece of steel that goes all around here and all around there, up to here. Then there's a piece that goes this way, to this way, to that way, to this way. In other words, on the bottom, that's your, I guess your axle straps, they call them. It goes like from here to here, around the axle, and up and through there. And there's long bolts that go through a piece of wood. This is like a piece of wood, 2.2 inches thick, that go through here to hold this trunnion plate to the axle strap down here, from here to here, and this goes through the axle strap and the trunnion plate. So basically, this would have to be indented just a little bit for the on a cheek, because this one, the axle strap goes over the trunnion plate right here. Then you have these spacers called rondelles. I found online a whole pile of these things. They're not that thick. They're about 1/8 inch or something. I got like freaking hundreds of them. Like one will go right here, actually where the white paint is. One goes here, one there. In other words, it goes almost right next to where this rod goes through, which is a 1/2 inch steel threaded rod. That's what I'm going to use. So one will go here, one will go here, and one will go here, and you'll space them out. The reason they have these spacers is if you got slightly different size cannons, width, where the trunnions are a little bit wider, you can adjust them with these shims so the cannon fits between the two cheeks. There'll be a cheek on this side. This will be 2 inches thick, and one on this side. So that's the part that's probably going to get me the most. Is, well, we'll see. I have a piece of pipe coming in that I'm going to try to get that 1/4 inch stuff and weld it to a 1/2 piece of pipe and make this bend down to here. If I could get that part done, I'm home free. Because to make the wood for this, I'm going to use cardboard, which is 3/4 inch thick. It's actually nominally it's 0.712, so it's just a hair over 7/10 of an inch. So when you add them up, it comes out to, well, basically almost 2.2 inches, which is the exact specification. What I'm going to do, instead of drilling a hole through the middle of it, all that wood, I'll glue them together, 3 pieces. I'll do the first piece of wood, you know, after this metal's made, because I'll cut the wood to the metal. I'm not going to try to make the metal to the wood. It's easy to shape wood. I just take a jigsaw and I freaking shape the wood, and, you know, trace it out. In other words, once I make this trunnion plate, even if it's not exactly like that, as long as both sides are the same, you just trace out on a piece on the hardboard the shape of the trunnion plate. Then you cut it out with a jigsaw. So then you take one piece and you glue the other piece on top of it after you make another piece the same size. And what I'm going to do, instead of gluing all three pieces together and drilling a hole, which is freaking difficult, I'm going to glue two pieces together and use the router to make a channel, because this will be a 1/2 inch threaded rod. So if I make a channel that's, you know, 7/10, basically 7/10 of an inch, the 1/2 inch rod would fit in there, not real super, no, it would fit in there no problem without getting jammed up or you had to hammer it through. So then after I just route out that channel, then I would glue the other piece on top of it. And of course, I'd put the rods in there to make sure everything's freaking fitted good before, you know, while it's being glued together, make sure everything's okay. But, you know, this is the part, well, we'll see when I actually go to do it. I was surprised at this metal snap, though. It's A36 structural steel. It says formability is fair. The other stuff that's out there, I didn't see any steel that's like really formable. I don't know where you can buy it, like you can really form it real easy. I'm sure there's something out there. This is considered, you know, mild steel. It's not heat treated to tool steel specs or something like that. You would never be able to bend that stuff. And I don't have an acetylene torch, so forget about that. So I'm gonna actually wire feed weld the damn thing instead, you know, and then hit it with the flap wheel. It takes some time doing that, but I think it'll be all right. There'll probably be some gaps in there and stuff, but I'll hammer them down with the little mini sludge hammer. So that's the bottom side. Now it'll be the top side. And like you said, you got to make a plate. It goes across the top here. I mean, that's simple. Just one plate, and then there's a little plate that goes in here. So it's like you're putting it. That'll be all one piece, and that just, you know, so it keeps the tension the same across the top of there, or actually be the bottom side. I hope I can get that done tomorrow. I've been doing a lot of projects though, so I'll show you the metal bender. It does work pretty good. I heard the thing go snap, and it was like, is that the metal bender, or is that, it was actually the steel. So here's the metal bender. Yeah, the thing's working okay. I actually had a little pipe on there. I was using it, giving more leverage. And I'm still drinking and doing the HHO water, the Brown's gas. I got some right here. I actually breathed that stuff for about an hour today already. There's my timer, 60 minutes. And I'm gonna drink this stuff up. This will be my second quarter, so I got a power supply for this over in that little cardboard box. That's I'm gonna set up with an amp gauge. So, and I got a cord and some doodads. I mean, I might not do that tomorrow because I want to try to get ahead more on this Canon thing, but I've just been doing a lot of different projects, so it's been delaying the Canon. And another side note, I have the Chinese HHO welder, which I'm going to use for Brown's gas breathing, adapted to that. That's coming in tomorrow. So, see how that works out. 125 bucks delivered. But yeah, this has got me anxious. I've just been delayed. Oh, I also got, well, I've been delayed because I'm waiting on some stuff too. That's another thing. I'm gonna wait till I get the pipe to make these trunnion plates. But I did get a bunch more 40 grit. I was using 50 grit. I only had like 3 sheets. I already used them all up. A lot of this is done. 50 grit. You can see this little thing here where it's got like this. You know, that's not too bad already. I can get that a little bit better. You know, I got to do like in the tail section there, which is not much. Most of this is smoothed out pretty good. You know, the front part is pretty good and stuff. And actually, little stuff that's imperfections. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it, then I'm going to truck bed line it, and use the squeegee with the truck bed lining, just because that'll fill in any kind of imperfections. Remember, it's not a piece of furniture, but I don't want anybody seeing that it was put together with pieces of boards. You know, I don't want any of that showing up. But I got a bunch more 40 grit So I'll be sanding the crap out of this tomorrow, and I'll get that part done. And actually, if it's sanded up to my satisfaction, I'll paint this thing tomorrow too. I'll paint it that brown color. I got some, that's just some freaking deck and floor and fence paint. Some good stuff though. I'll paint it tomorrow actually. If I'll probably have that, we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep getting sidetracked with stuff. It's gonna be raining out tomorrow, but I'll be working under this thing. So I just got that sandpaper in yesterday afternoon. So I just got these rondelles in yesterday afternoon, I think or the day before. Then I started thinking, when I went to bend this pipe and it broke, I said to myself, no way in hell am I going to make this with the metal bender. When I realized how, it's this metal is actually kind of brittle. You could form it only so much. That's when I said, I got to order some pipe. And, I'll use like a half piece of the pipe, then weld from here, weld that to this, and then this probably won't be too hard to form. I'm almost tempted to make this tomorrow, because I actually could make this tomorrow. Because I can leave myself a little more room. This way, when a pipe comes in, I can just maybe cut off to what I need. I actually could make this tomorrow. I'll probably try to do that tomorrow too, if I got enough time. Because if I get the trunnion plates done, then I'll have to just get some hardboard, the threaded rod. Got plenty of glue over there. Well, we'll see, because I've been getting sidetracked a lot, and that's one of the problems, man. I've just been busy with other projects. Screwing around with the Brown's gas too. But I just want to tell you too that Brown's gas does seem to give you good energy. And I'm making sure I breathe enough of that stuff and drink enough of that water, because give me enough energy to do this damn thing. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot I was taking out Christmas lights and stuff too. I had there was all the ones out there along the fence, the 3 deer, had to put them up in the shed. And all that just adds up. A few hours here, a few hours there. It all adds up. I don't remember what the hell else I was doing, but just my Christmas stuff here. So it just eats up time. It's like if I could spend a full 6 or 8 hours on this thing, it'll probably move along. If I could spend 8 hours a day on this, 5 days a week, we'll see how it works out next week. Every week I've been saying that, and it's not been happening, because there's other things that are sidetracking me. Because you notice I got a lot of varied interest. And yeah, I was screwing around fixing a little Jeep thing there. I was digging out my flags and stuff for the next SEV meeting. I'm going to make sure I got, the right stuff for them. And, actually any of this stuff I actually snapped here too, that 3/8 stuff. None of that's going to waste. I could probably weld that up. I could probably even use that for the center strap. There's besides the axle straps, like there's axle bands that go on the end, and there's axle straps. They go right around the axle over here. Then there's a center strap that goes from this thing, not from the cheeks, but from this, and then it wraps around the axle that way. So we'll see how this all works out. It's probably going to be plenty strong enough to freaking fire it live with munitions too, but I don't plan to ever do that, because I also started thinking that back when they were doing this shit back in the Confederacy, I'm guaranteed the North had everything perfect. I don't think the Confederates had everything perfect. So if somebody gives me a lot of crap about this thing not being perfect, I'm going to say, screw you. Screw you. Go freaking do your own shit, People got a lot of money buy these things. It's like, is it a matter of, could I buy one? Yeah. I think it would be, could I go out there and buy a $20,000, $30,000 cannon? Yeah. Why the hell would I do that? That's stupid. I'd buy property before I buy something like that. But I want this thing to, what I'll probably do too is it'll be out here, displayed out here, right out here, man. So I'll probably set something up between these trees, so it'll be right out here, and I'm gonna get the light from up here pointing right at it. Right there, Boo Boo, my little friend. That's Feather, mama cat, I think. Right? They look like twins, man. You look like a twin. You look like a twin. What is Boots? See the one eye? He's got one eye reflex. The other one don't. It's still no good. Anyway, that's a wrap, man. So we'll see. We'll see. Because with me, it's like, you know, all of a sudden shit clicks. You know, it's like things don't freaking go the way I want it to, and then all of a sudden things start rolling. What I'm nervous about this is because I've never done this before, and I got no help, so that's why people don't do this kind of shit. You know, I've never done this before, and I have no freaking clue what the. I mean, I have the plans, and I look at them all the time. And it'll be done okay, but it ain't gonna be exactly like the real one, but close enough.